Welcome back to week 8 and 9 of Ellie's and my training adventure together for the Prodigious Fun 100-Day Challenge. And this week we're going to show a lot of flat work. I feel like she and I need a new and improved communication with our leg. And by nature she's quite a quiet horse, off of the leg, maybe even dull would be a better word. And to just prove that point, I found a couple video clips that show her quite unresponsive to my leg. Here she is, not listening to a trot aid. And she kind of fumbles through it, puts her head up in the air and hauls her back, and then really doesn't stay forward and marching along. And in this next clip, I'm actually attempting to get her closer to the wall. She wants to, on this part of the arena, she wants to veer to the right because that's closer to the barns. And you can see how my position is altered, trying to get her too close to the wall. So I have an indirect rein with my right hand, my hips go out to the left, I start leading with my left rein, and that's generally a sign that things aren't going quite right. When she's not listening to my leg, then the equitation can start to suffer. So it was after this ride that I decided I really needed to renegotiate our leg aids. And right here I am about to do an exercise involving near halts. So bringing her from a trot almost to a walk and then asking her to go forward again. And this is the progress of teaching her a half halt. But you can see she comes down quite easily, and then as I ask her to go forward, she twists her head, puts her ears back a little bit, and doesn't respond very, very nicely in a positive way. So one of the best ways to fix this is by slowing things down, coming back to a walk, and I'm going to teach her about turn on the forehand. This isn't going to be a very complicated exercise. I'm going to keep it quite simple. And by that I mean I'm not going to have a strong outside hand, and my inside leg has to work with my outside hand in a diagonal pair. I'm going to be a little more simple than that. And I'm just going to slow her down and flutter my leg a little bit on her side and ask for her haunches to swing, in this case, to the right. And I'm going to try and slow her front end down, and I'm going to reward any tiny little responsiveness she gives. And I'm not getting a whole lot, so I move my whip over to the right to help my leg aid come through. And in this exercise, she barely takes a step over, but she yields her rib cage, and I can feel that as a rider, so I wanted to reward that right away. And this, in some ways, is a little bit similar to the clicker training in video number 1, where I'm not going to expect her to do a perfect turn on the forehand, but I am going to reward little tiny steps so that in the future, when she starts putting 2 and 2 together, she'll understand how to yield away from a lighter aid. So she's standing here processing the information and not really knowing what the answer is. She's backing up, which isn't the right answer, so I keep my leg fluttering on her side, and when she does yield a tiny little bit, then I respond with a pat, a good girl, and a walk forward. Good girl. And then she had a very nice response, so then I decided to change directions. And so I move my whip over and slow down again to almost a halt and kind of change the bend. And as soon as I changed the bend, I felt her give through her rib cage. And obviously, I've already found out that her right side is her more supple side, and she's very quick to yield onto this right side. Good girl. So because she is so much better on the right side, I actually make it a little bit more complicated for her. Then I start asking for the yield, but I also insist that she stay more forward and marching in a forward walking step. And she does this well a couple times in a row, and I go back to her weaker side and ask one more time for the yield and get a nice response. So at this point I decide that I'm done and I can go up and see if it applies to my trot work. So when I'm teaching a young horse to leg yield, I try and not go all the way to the quarter line, but I stay a little bit closer to the wall. The horses tend to be a little bit magnetic towards the wall of the arena, and I want to use that to my advantage. If that can help my aid come through and teach the horse what the aid means, then that can only be a good thing. So she stays much straighter here through her body and definitely steps over towards the wall in a nice rhythm. Some young horses like to speed up when you put on the inside leg. You think as a rider that you're asking for the yield, but the horse interprets it as a forward aid. And if she did that, then I would still be adding in some walk transitions to help her understand that the single leg on the inside means to step away from it, not to go forward. Good girl. She's still not as good on this side of the arena as she is on the side that is heading towards the barn, but that's, that's details that I can fix later. Right now I'm just looking for her to put 2 and 2 together on the aids, and every time she gives me a nice response like that one, where she steps sideways and keeps a nice rhythm, then she gets a nice pat and a reward. Her canter work is coming along quite nicely these days, but I still feel that she is slightly behind my leg and not forward. And the way you can see this on the video is watching her head bob. She tends to make a dramatic up and down motion with her head, and that usually implies that she's stiff through the top line and not pushing forward through her step. Like most racehorses, I do find that she is very, very quick to respond to a cluck or a kiss with your mouth. Those kind of verbal aids kind of shoot her forward, and that's not helpful either. So right now I'm doing a little bit of a balancing act between getting her forward off of my clucking aids and also making sure that she's learning how to stay forward when I also squeeze her with my legs. Her left canter is also getting better, although you can see more dramatically the head bob to the left. One thing I've learned is that she will pick up the correct lead, the left lead, when I use my left leg to aid her. If I use my outside leg, the right leg, she always picks up the right lead. So you can see here her head bob's a little more dramatic, she's a little more stiff through the top line. So this is something I'm going to be working on in the future to help her kind of roll along and stay connected into my hand from my leg. So the last thing I'm going to show you in this workout is the half halt exercise that was the beginning of this video. At the beginning of the video, she slowed her feet down, she got behind my leg and hollowed her back out and didn't respond forward off of my leg when I cued her. So here I do it a couple more times. You can see she stays active, she stays through and connected to my hand, and when I ask her to come forward, she very softly extends her stride into a nice working trot. And the fact that she repeated it a couple times nicely tells me that we do have an improved relationship with my leg aids to her. So that's the video for this week, and I can't wait to see everybody at the October 5th show at Decher Farms. Looking forward to it. Thanks.